Hey guys, what's up? This is Diego here at Cinemageddon Reviews. So this is going to be a different kind of video, which is why you're not seeing my face right now. I decided to try a different approach and be a little bit more analytical this time around. You guys can let me know later if you like it or not. There's actually a pretty funny story behind me posting this review now. The truth is, I could have sworn Sebastian had reviewed The Falcon and the Winter Soldier before, but as it turns out, that was a trailer reaction video and not a review. Sebastian is currently busy with a whole bunch of videos right now, and I've still got some catching up to do with this channel as it turns out. So without further ado, here we go with my in-depth thoughts on The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, fair warning, this series has been out for some time now. The last episode aired on April 23rd, and read the title. Seriously, read it. In case it's not obvious by now, I'm going to take advantage here and give you my full, unfiltered, spoiler-filled thoughts. This is an official spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the series and you don't want to be spoiled, turn this video off right now. Okay, now to everybody else, here we go. So as you all know, at the end of Avengers Endgame, Steve Rogers gives Sam Wilson his Captain America shield, trusting him to carry on the mantle. Now, after all that Steve Rogers did, and the legacy that he left behind, that might seem like a terrifying responsibility to anybody who understands what it means to be Captain America. And the story starts with Sam Wilson shying away from that responsibility by signing that shield away to the government. He thinks he made the right decision until he realizes, as we all know, that the US government doesn't respect shit. Hence, we get John Walker, or as I like to call him, the Anti-Steve, which makes Captain America Superman, while John Walker is, Homelander?
Stay back! You stay the fuck back or I'll laser you, goddammit! I'll laser every fucking one of you!
What I think makes John Walker so interesting is that he's not your conventional antagonist. He's also not 100% a villain either. He's really just kind of an anti-hero, in the same vein as Venom, really. He can team up with the heroes or take a darker route as a character, and either way fits his personality very well. He's someone who is haunted by the prospect that he's never been good enough, despite everyone constantly telling him how great he is, and how much he's accomplished. And ironically, it's when he becomes Captain America that he becomes a failure, even a complete monster at certain points. Where we see he's truly hit bottom is where he beats that flag smasher to death in public and gets the shield all bloody. And of course, the metaphor for blood on America's flag is obvious when we see the shield covered in blood. And that scene eventually leads us to my favorite scene on the show, which is in Episode 5, when the Falcon and the Winter Soldier team up against John Walker in a fight and take the shield from him. It's very reminiscent of the ending of Captain America Civil War, because it's sort of the reverse version. In Civil War, Steve Rogers abandons the shield because the Captain America identity conflicts with what Steve was fighting for in that moment. But here it's the opposite. Here, the Falcon is taking back the shield because him not being Captain America conflicts with what he's fighting for. So in order to accomplish what he has to do, he has to be Captain America. Now, what I've always loved about the Captain America side of Marvel is that it stays down to earth with its politics. It shows that a superpower like the United States can be one of two things. It can either be something helpful to people in need, even something hopeful, or it can be something terrifying and just downright evil. It all depends on the people in charge. It depends on them to consider other people's needs and to consider that with leadership and guidance, not control or fear, is how the country not only thrives, but makes the world a better place for everyone, including other countries. Otherwise, you get people like the Anti-Steve, who are very unfit to be in positions of leadership because of their own flaws.
I only ever did what you asked of me, what you told me to be and trained me to do, and I did it. And I did it well.
Or, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you get radical groups like the Flag Smashers, who, as benign as their intentions may be, are sort of fueled by the government's indifference toward people in need and end up being labeled as terrorists. And it's not because they're bad people necessarily, but because their struggle and their desperation and anger is seen as a threat to people in positions of power and not seen as a sign that something is wrong. Because yes, these people are doing terrible things, but it's because their needs aren't being considered. You don't have to agree with their methods. I mean, Captain America certainly doesn't, but you should understand where they're coming from. Part of solving the problem is understanding the problem.
These labels, terrorist, refugee, thug, they're often used to get around the question why.
And I think that's the core message of this series. I think The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is an allegory for America in the past, present, and future. And that's my favorite part of the show, is that after Steve Rogers is gone, the legacy and the lessons became 100 times bigger in scope. It's actually the biggest positive the show has to offer, in my opinion. It's also why I'm starting to like Sam Wilson as Captain America just as much as I did Steve Rogers. Of course, Anthony Mackie does a great job in everything he's in, and I think this series is his best work yet. But as Captain America, I feel like in such a short time, Sam Wilson has already lived up to Steve Rogers' legacy. And that's not just because of him, but because of the incredibly great writing. There are a lot more messages in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier worth mentioning. For instance, the way they implemented Isaiah Bradley was also a stroke of genius, and the way it talks about the government covering up certain parts of history because of things like a person's race is incredibly smart. This is something the government has done many times, not just with race either, but with gender, or sexual orientation, or religious views. And Carl Lumbly does such a great job with this role. He feels so real, so lived in and haunted as this character. At times it's almost hard to watch because it feels so real and you just feel so sorry for him.
They will never let a black man be Captain America. And even if they did, no self-respecting black man would ever want to be.
Another of my favorite parts of the show is Bucky Barnes' character arc as he learns to come to terms with who he is and forgive himself. It not only hits home with veterans who often struggle with morality after coming home from war, but also with people in general who may regret hurting others in life. I mean, imagine keeping a terrible secret from a best friend because you're afraid it might hurt them. Or even worse, not telling them because you're not sure that you've really changed. And you're constantly searching for validation from people who might not give it to you, and you feel so terrible for Bucky this whole series.
Steve believed in you. He trusted you. He gave you that shield for a reason. That shield, that is everything he stood for. That is his legacy. He gave you that shield and you threw it away like it was nothing. So maybe he was wrong about you. And if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
So when he becomes truly friends with Sam Wilson, it's almost cathartic for him because it's almost like he's moved on from his past in that special way. At the beginning of the show, he misses Steve so much and he feels alone in the world, but at the end, after he's come to terms with his past, he's surrounded by people who see him as just a regular guy. And Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan are so great together. It feels like a real passive-aggressive love-hate relationship, but when they become friends, it feels genuine, and it has a lot of funny moments.
Good, now look at each other. You need to look at each other in the eyes. There, you see, that wasn't so hard. Wait, what are you doing? Are you having a staring contest? Just blink. Sweet Jesus.
And there's one scene in one of the later episodes of the show where Sebastian Stan is just so intense. It's the flashback scene in Wakanda where he's first free of his Hydra brainwashing. That was so powerful. Definitely one of the most tear-jerking moments of the whole MCU.
You are free.
And let me just say, the entire last episode of the series was spectacular. It was action-packed, it was exciting, and of course there's that great speech from Captain America at the end. And there are so many things being set up for the future, the biggest of which is the announcement of a fourth Captain America movie, which I'm really excited for. Hopefully we'll see more of US Agent and the Power Broker, because I can't wait to see where that goes. And hopefully we get to see more of Val, because I have absolutely no idea who she is or what she's going to bring us in the future, so bring that on too. Overall, I think The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was such a great series. It truly is the embodiment of Captain America, despite the fact that Steve Rogers is gone. That presence is still there, and that memory is still there, and it's still holding strong, obviously. I think Marvel has definitely found its footing after retiring Steve Rogers, and the future looks very, very bright. And with that said, my rating for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is 10 out of 10. So if you've seen Falcon and Winter Soldier, please let me know what your thoughts are. Did you like it? Do you think Sam Wilson makes a good Captain America? And are you excited for the new Captain America movie? I definitely am. Also, let me know if you enjoyed me doing a video in this style. I like going in depth about stuff that I really like, whether it's movies, TV, or video games. Anime's not really my specialty, but if you want to see more stuff like this from me, please let me know. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And please support us on Patreon, of course, so you can get exclusive rewards and bonus content just for you. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. This is Diego from Cinemageddon Reviews, and I'll see you on the Wasteland.